cartoon. With a crooked hat and face like a moon, you share your philosophy all around. I look at you, cause you seem found. Close your eyes, hear that sound. There's a pile of sweaters filled with holes, and empty cabinets filled with prose. The world's pretty, but the sky's too loud. Can't read signs and your brain's a cloud. Unfolding paper flowers, unlighting melted candles, and sipping day-old coffee from mugs that don't belong to me.
Run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, run it up, run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up, serious. Run it up, run it up, run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, run it up, run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff.
I'm flying high, gliding by, resting on the cloud, whispering through the sky. I made this shit for you and I'm living by that do or die. Do you wanna ride in a caddy and chop it up? I got the sauce, just need the bread so I can sop it up. Say it ain't easy, just to pop it up.
But Brian Brown is probably a complicated one. But
Fly your way on
You can
myself
keep it
into a whole new sector with a whole new spectrum where the word
yeah, they like.
I'm gonna light this candle instead. I feel like maybe that will look nicer.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect me.
Shout my business out. My birthday just came.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. After further review, this is episode number 46. The camera is on autofocus. And All right, there we go, folks. We're really good at this. Yeah, there's a couple of fluke episodes in there, so we're probably technically closer to 50. But anyway, yeah, this is episode 46. Welcome back to Further Review. I'm your co-host, Jalen Brown. Yes, we are assuming that you can hear us just fine. We didn't do clearly we didn't do any tests before the show started. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we are in the thick of preseason right now. We're watching my Patriots beat up on what's left of the Philadelphia Eagles, and yeah, week 2 of preseason right now, which is just a great little segue. We talk about the NFL, we talk about the NBA. That's it. You're not gonna hear us talk about college football, which is about to start. You're not gonna hear us talk about college basketball. Yep, no cricket, no soccer, no MLB, no hockey, none of that, folks. It's just the only 2 sports that are the most entertaining. Right. But anyway, Shaq, how was your week been? That's probably best. Less is more.
To the fact that I put this out there, but I was talking to an individual, and the fact is, I don't know if that says anything about us, but I mentioned the podcast, and she was actually familiar with the podcast.
Really?
Yes. Apparently her dad or her brother listens to the podcast, and she was very familiar with it on Spotify.
This show.
This show.
It's very strange.
Like, I mentioned him, she's like, the name sounds very familiar. Do you guys stream on Spotify? I'm like,
What the hell?
yes. So if that says anything, folks, our show is getting up there. So
It's alarming and great at the same time.
People working on the show apparently.
People are listening to this. Take that, Joe. Someone recognized us.
Off of that. No pretense, new reality.
That's crazy. Anyway, on that same note, if you are listening to the show and want to come through and watch the show, you can do so on YouTube usually Wednesday night. It's kind of an off week. We're on Thursday night this week, but usually Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch us live here on YouTube on the Melheim's Media channel. So it's the first link down in the audio description below. Click that, you'll come over to the channel. Click subscribe. You can listen to an array of other podcasts. There's a brand new Melheim's the Third podcast that's just been kicking off, hosted by Mel himself. There's, of course, the staples like Uncensored Mike's Bush League podcast. They also talk about sports as well. There's the Tony Black Show. There's the Kilimanjaro Tribe podcast. There's an array. That's a legit podcast name. I'm not making that over now. There's an array of different podcasts that you can check out right now. There's too many for me to even remember at this point, so check them out. You're obviously already in the presence of the best show, so you can cross that one off your list. But if you want to see second, third best, those are still there. Yeah. You don't have to listen to the best, but
We recommend you always come back to it.
right. We would like to get more of you in here live, not after the fact, but take it where you can get it. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we do actually talk about sports on this show, so that's what we're gonna do first and foremost. So, NBA is over with for the time being, even though it's about to be right back because we are quickly approaching the month of October. Summer League is done, and now at this point, it's just kind of like dudes are about to get back into camps and back into the normal swing of things, which it's like COVID really jacked this thing up because it feels like basketball has just constantly been on for the past 2 years.
I feel bad for players.
Yeah.
I've had no real big break from the season. It's just straight off of, all right, off season for about 3 weeks. And
right. Because, after the bubble, they had like 2 months of an off season, and it was like right back by Christmas. And then this time around, and they had to play all the way into July, I think, was in the finals, and then I'm assuming they'll make their October normal comeback date in October. So it's really like November though, because usually at the very end of October. But anyway, first topic of the week is the top 5 forwards in the NBA right now. So we've been giving our top 5s we did pretty much every single offensive position in the NFL already. So if you want to go back, one more excuse for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can go back to previous episodes, watch. If you want to see our top 5 quarterbacks, wide receivers, all that stuff, feel free. But now we're switching over to the NBA. We're going to start off with forwards. Now, folks, you're not going to hear any Larry Birds in here or Michael Jordans. This is current players. We're basing this off of last year's performance heading into next year. So these are our top 5 NBA forwards each. So we're going to start number 5 and then work our way to number 1. I'm going to go off with my number 5. I'll kick this one off. I kind of got to the bottom of my list, and the NBA is kind of different than the NFL, because the NFL, everybody's position is very, it is what it is. Yeah. NBA now, we get hit a point where it's a lot of hybrids now, so it does kind of get tough to say, like, Ben Simmons is a 6'8" point guard, which is crazy to think about, but he's really a point forward. Exactly. Right. He's on paper he is a forward, but the Lakers play him at the 5 a lot of the time. But for my number 5, I put a dude who is purely a forward for the most part, and that is my very own Jason Tatum. Had to put him at number 5, folks. I was at the bottom of my list, and I'm like, who else could I put here? I had to say I was highly considering Zion, because he's also a dude who is on paper listed as like a power forward, but seems to kind of fit more of the center role nowadays. But to me, I was like, would I rather have Tatum or rather have Zion? Of course, I'm a big Tatum. Come on, I'm a Boston fan. So, yeah, Jason Tatum is my number 5. Quickly approaching superstar status. Carried our... if he was not on this team last year, we would probably have a number 2 pick in the draft right now, because he absolutely carried our team just through thick and thin, through a lot of the injuries that other dudes had. Even after having COVID himself, Jason Tatum came out and just balled out of his mind all last year. And he's just progressively getting better and better every year since his rookie year. He's a young, very young superstar in the making right now. And I think, he's without a doubt, to me, one of the top 5 forwards in this league.
I also chose Jason Tatum.
Let's go.
I chose him because he was a big part of why people watch the Celtics play. Watching him this season.
Yes.
They're a great team. Past couple seasons a lot, but that man put the team on his back, balled out. So to be a very interesting young player to watch this team. So
Yes, without a doubt. Love JT. Man, do this. He gives the light-skinned brothers a good look in the NBA, so I'm holding it down. Not that they really need any more pats on the back, but in the NBA they do. Because right now it's Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Clarkson, Chef Curry, and Steph. I guess that's true. Steph hold it down too. So anyway, what would you do if I put Kyle Kuzma as a top forward? I got 4 more picks. He might be in there somewhere. Number 4. The name won't surprise you, but the placement may be. Put LeBron James at my number 4 right now. This was a tough one. I tossed and turned at night when I was trying to sleep. You gotta put LeBron. I finally settled on number 4. I originally had him at 3, but I'm thinking if I was starting a team now, and I had the option of him and several other players, if I couldn't see who the rest of the teammates were, I feel like I wouldn't pick LeBron ahead of some other
I
guys.
would pick him for the experience and the fact that he facilitated. I'll pick him for that.
If I knew who my other 4 guys were, I'd be much more inclined to pick him. But if I had no idea, if you're like, you have to pick any forward you want right now, LeBron wouldn't be my first pick. Because I need to know, do I have shooters around him who can support this? Because he's really a point forward. Like, usually when he's on the court, he's the one bringing up the ball and facilitating the offense in his older stage of life here. So yeah, I need to know that there's guys around him that can do a lot of the scoring for him, rather than some of the other guys, Durant or Giannis, who can just give him the ball and they'll do everything. But anyway, yeah, LeBron is still one of the best out there without a doubt. I still think he's the best facilitator of to be just straight up, I think he's the best passer in the NBA still, and just runs the best show. I think better than Chris Paul, better than Steph, better than Dame. I still think he can run an offense the best in the NBA. So LeBron, when he can have enough help and can go to the basket and do his thing, he's not only a great passer but still a great scorer. And yeah. Okay, on street clothes.
My thing about it is, yes, he has trouble staying healthy, but when he is in the game, he's a great impact, and he definitely goes out in those 2.5 games. He's big now for I don't know what reason.
Stomach ache.
Like, I give him the credit for the few games that he played this last season. He definitely, I feel like he did good work. So I feel like
yes,
because he played his part when he was there, when he participated.
Yeah, he is when he's available, he's outstanding. Hell, look at the previous year, Lakers won the whole damn thing when they had the bubble, and they had a month and a half, 2 months off to make sure everybody got healthy, and as soon as everybody was good to go, the Lakers ran the whole thing. So
he's there.
Yeah,
he's
without a doubt.
That shows up like 2 days out of the week for school, but
he knows all the answers to everything.
Yeah, it's like, how do you know that? You even but
meanwhile, you're looking at the book like it's in Swahili.
Even as a class, we can get high.
Something's wrong here. I'm not the problem, but something's wrong here. Number 3, I put Luka Doncic at number 3. I was highly considering putting him at 4. He's another one of those cases where technically a guard or possibly a forward, but the dude's like 6'7". I just can't possibly think of him as a guard. I'm sorry. I know him like LeBron, usually like point forward. He's a dude bringing up the ball and handling it. To me, it doesn't make any sense to put him at on paper, the guard position. But anyway, Luka is he's one of my favorite players to watch. Dude completely balls out anywhere, always. It does not matter what the circumstances are. He's just plays out of his mind all the time. I pray that Dallas can put some weapons around him better than Kristaps Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr., especially Porzingis. Hardaway, I don't mean to disrespect him. He's actually a pretty solid player, but Porzingis, come on. That's the one move the Knicks have made with getting rid of him that you can look back and say, all right, Knicks, you guys finally called one right. But the Luka, outstanding. Hopefully he's going to be there for the long haul. Just extend that huge extension. Hopefully Dallas can get their head out of their ass and give him some help, because he's just phenomenal to watch. Great facilitator of the ball, and most of all, he can drop 40 like it's nothing. Luka Doncic should put him number 3.
I'm going to surprise y'all because y'all probably could put him higher or put him there, or not, depending on how position's at. Put Giannis.
Okay.
For your sake, Giannis is a great player. He's won his championship, carried his team, but I still qualify him as a one-dimensional player. He does one thing
Yes.
really, really well, and that's it.
Yeah.
Man has trouble shooting still. Every once in a while, he jacks up a three, and statistics do so. Unless you watch a TikTok, but statistics do show that you will hit a shot eventually.
Right. Yeah.
Well, he does one thing really, really well, and unfortunately, there's very few people right now in the league that's regarding him and doing that.
Mhm.
And I give him props for that. But like I said, maybe a little more versatility and just maybe a little non-penny.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's my number 2. So I'll just segue right into that. Yeah, he's extremely one-dimensional. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, anytime a dude even looks like he's going to shoot the ball, most back off, go ahead, take that one. But yeah, when he is in motion going towards the hole, he's absolutely unstoppable. And ask the Phoenix Suns that, because they will tell you damn well there ain't nothing that you can do about that. When he puts his head down and goes towards that rim, I think that he's the most dominant player since Shaq in the early 2000s.
In the paint region.
Right, when it comes to in the paint, without a doubt. Because it's just a freight train coming straight at you. I think even because up until then, I would say it was LeBron in his earlier career. Like when he put his head down, went to the rim, there was just nothing you could do about it. But Giannis is bigger, and so just for that simple fact that he's basically a 7-footer and could play center, and even centers can't stop him. It's like he's just that dominant. So yeah, I put him at my number 2, even though he can't shoot the ball. Really, sometimes you'll see him hit a little elbow here and there. And the other thing I'll give him a lot of props for is the free throw thing, because, yeah, he's a bad free throw shooter, but he's not scared to take free throw shots, even when you have Phoenix Suns fans literally counting down to try and make him miss. Like, that's the most disrespectful thing you could do. And I would understand if he was like, man, I ain't trying to go to this free throw. I don't even want. But he never shied away from taking those shots. And when you look on the opposite side, like Ben Simmons, terrified to go in line. He wouldn't shoot the ball because he didn't want to get fouled, because he knew I ain't making these damn shots. But Giannis, on the other hand, even if he's a bad free throw shooter, he'll still go to the line. If he shoots 50, 60% for a game, he's going to go to the line and at least try. So, yeah, I put Giannis at my number 2.
My number 2 is actually LeBron. I put him at my number 2. Purely for the experience, the man's a great facilitator. I would put him as a wonderful leader as part of his team, but also pick an all-star team. And like, he's one of my top skill-based people I would do as a last-second game winner.
Right.
Jack the shot and somebody shoot. At the end line, I would put LeBron. He's the type of person I feel like will not hesitate, put the shot, unfazed about who's standing in front of him. The only person I would put like maybe ahead of him is like Steph.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So I was like, I put him, the man is versatile enough. I feel like if he's not gonna do it consistently, but I feel like if he wants to drop to the hoop, he still could. He
Yes.
doesn't do a lot. He still has a decent amount of range to him where he wants to. He knows the game, he knows how to play, he's gonna make sure he's gonna circulate the ball enough. He plays big, plays small as a point guard. He can do. I feel like he's a person who can play just about any position on the court.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's a great overall, well-rounded player. So definitely worth the number 2. I understand number 4 just because he's up there at age. And he's not gonna consistently do everything he wanted to do. But
Right. Yeah, that is the funny thing though. Like, if I were putting together a team, LeBron would still probably be like my top 2. It just kind of depends on, do I know who else I have? Because he's the first person I'm thinking of. All right, I'm taking LeBron, and we're gonna go elsewhere. But yeah, the really funny thing with LeBron, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with him directly, but a lot of dudes, when they come, like in these off seasons, like the Lakers right now, they have basically a whole new team now. And on paper, it's like these dudes who, on their previous team, are always solid shooters, and like, all right, they're going to play with LeBron. Finally, he gets some shooters. But this is not the first time that's happened. Like, we can go back in history and look at Cleveland and Miami when it was like mainly Cleveland or older Laker teams, when it was like, all right, we're bringing them this guy who was a great shooter before him, and they get to LeBron, and all of a sudden they can't remember how to shoot a damn basketball.
It's like, you can't make a facilitator not giving weapons to output.
Ask Kyle. And the funny thing was, Kyle Kuzma, for example, he was there before LeBron even came to LA. But LeBron gets there, AD gets there, and the big three was going to be LeBron, AD, Kuzma. And then as soon as that got assembled, suddenly Kuzma couldn't play basketball anymore. Like, it's so strange.
I was like, as you say that, I just remember Kuzma was supposed to be the shit.
Another one, he was in Cleveland, Jay Crowder. Up until then, Jay Crowder was a solid shooter. Gets to Cleveland, suddenly can't throw a stone in the ocean. And then leaves Cleveland, goes to Phoenix, and just back to a sniper all of a sudden. I don't get it. Maybe it's... I don't get it. I don't know. But there's plenty of cases where you can see that, like Rodney Hood back in Cleveland. I'm trying to think of some other names off the top of my head. Of course, nobody else besides those three are coming to mind at the same time. But
the other two were solid. The Heat were always solid because you had Wade and Bosh with him at that point in time. So, like, it was a solid team.
Yeah, right. He didn't really have that problem in Miami.
It was
but
very minimal problems.
Right, exactly.
Purely because I think we went there with very well experienced players.
Yeah,
So
right. Right, yeah, that's true. Right, and that was a established winning culture already because Dwayne Wade was already there and had already done it. So everybody else was coming after the fact. But
between Wade and Shaq was at a certain point.
Yeah.
It was just like for years, it was, you know, like even if they didn't win a championship, there was just no very competitive team for us.
Yeah.
Years, so.
Yeah. And then for number one, I'm assuming we both have Durant as our number one. The old snake up there at number one.
It's so hard not to put it. Doesn't matter what you gotta say to it. When you see this man play basketball,
It's just, you can't deny it. You just can't deny
it's
it.
a work of art.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I do not see anybody KD's size doing the stuff that he
Yeah,
does.
unbelievable.
Shooting anything.
Can shoot from anywhere he wants.
How do you guard that?
Exactly. 7-footer who can shoot from anywhere he wants.
Okay, out of the hoop, mid-range, beyond the arc, I do not carry. I'm guard.
Yeah, and would be in the finals right now if his toe was an inch back. If his toe was 1 inch further back, would have been in the finals. Would he have won? I don't know. But that's just crazy to think about. Absolutely crazy.
Really little dangerous player. Josh Muir plays just basketball when it comes. Like I said, if he can stay healthy,
Right,
athleticism, shooting, intelligence.
Yeah.
And if he had everybody else on his team that's supposed to be an all-star, maybe that big three or whatever, healthy,
Oh yeah.
literally that team up there is meant to be unstoppable with KD.
Yeah. My question to you is, what is your favorite version of KD? You like OKC KD, Golden State KD, or Brooklyn KD?
I'm gonna have to go with Brooklyn KD. Only because now we get to see him as on the spotlight and where he's number one, and I feel like now he takes the ball fully control of himself. Whereas I feel like Golden State KD was more of a Steph Curry show kind of thing. Everyone's just sitting there watching, like, yeah, we do have KD to help, but it's a Steph Curry show. OKC, there's a lot going on, the personality and other play styles, the Russ and all of those people going on over there. But he's now, even though he's still kind of another playbook of trios people go on, people are now fully acknowledging that KD is.
Yeah, it's really funny that you say that, 'cause it's probably the exact reason he left Golden State was because he was like, it doesn't matter what I do here, I can win 6 more championships. This is always Steph Curry's team. This is his city. I'm going to go somewhere else where I can be the guy. To me, though, it is OKC was my favorite version of him. That was when he was still wholesome in my eyes. Like, I was a lot younger at the time. I was still in grade school. He was a lot younger. The burner account thing, all that drama, all this is before that. And yes, he was there with Russ, and Russ was jacking up all these shots, and it was this weird thing of like whose team it was. But I don't know. I guess it was just more innocent at the time. I guess it's a lot more nostalgia, and that's why I say OKC. But yeah, because then after he went to Golden State, it was like a switch was hit, and he's no longer the wholesome KD. Now you're a snake.
I find it funny because I like him for the exact opposite. You like the wholesome side. I like the aspect of KD's like, nah, y'all gonna know me. I
Gotcha.
like that aspect. Like he's gonna be like, y'all gonna remember me not for this, that. Y'all gonna know that I'm a player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take charge of my own situation and do my own thing. Y'all gonna recognize me. I don't give a damn. He just doesn't want. I feel like he just doesn't want to compete with another player's team. If he were to go to Steph, it's gonna be his team. If he was to end up on a team with LeBron, it's gonna be always LeBron's team.
Right.
He wants to end up with Harden. Everyone knows.
Right, and Harden came there after the fact, so
Yeah, so it's kind of like you all know this Brooklyn as KD's team right now, and I feel like he just wants to be known as
the
I'm
guy.
a player and I am the guy on the team.
Yeah.
You could take Harden and everybody else off the big names off the court and put me on with 4 million people.
Right, we're still
like,
in it, yeah.
We're still gonna win. I'm still the ball. I'm gonna jack with like 45 points off me and everybody on him.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, I get that 1,000%. He was just on, I think it was Draymond Green has his own podcast, and he came on as a guest, and I don't know if you remember this, but his last year in Golden State when Draymond calls him a bitch on the court, and like, because he wasn't passing the ball to win the game. And that was like, when that happened, that was the beginning of the end. Everybody knew, all right, KD's probably at a Golden State after this. Fast forward to this interview. Durant and Draymond, they're still friends now, even after all that, but they're still like buddies. And they had blamed that whole situation and that falling out on like the front office and the coaching, which is the strangest thing to me. It's like me and you getting into an argument and then us blaming Mel for the argument. Like, they were mad that they didn't step in and clear the air. It's like, y'all grown men.
Like, you're a grown ass adult. Like, especially in my job where I see it.
Right,
Like,
right.
you see, and people still be complacing you about things they have with another person. I'm like, I don't understand what you want to do about 2 grown people.
Right.
You ever argue with somebody in Walmart and then go to, can I speak to your manager at Walmart? It's like, no. You ever argue with
Right.
Yes, to Walmart.
Go take it up with him.
What is he going to do to come deal with problems? No. Y'all 2 grown adults on the team. Y'all have the same kind of goals and intentions.
Yeah.
Y'all figure out how to make this a cohesive game.
Strange. And then Durant had brought up the Bulls dynasty, how when Scottie Pippen had like a falling out and like he didn't want to play, like purposely just did not want to play, and the way that they resolved it was like other teammates had called a team meeting and they kind of squashed it like that. But I thought that was a bad comparison because it's like, well, even in that case, that still has nothing to do with the coach or the GM. Like, that was still amongst the players.
I mean, the Bulls were a hot mess at that time. You think about personalities. You had Pippen, you had Jordan, you had Dennis Rodman and that. Dennis Rodman was a person who really took a whole season off to do his own damn thing.
And he was all over the
That's what I'm
place.
saying. It's like, you can't blame the head office for what Dennis Rodman did.
Right. I know, yeah.
And like, these are all big personality people, and then they're going to tell them no because they know that
Right.
they need it for certain reasons.
Yeah.
They didn't win no rings without
Right. Yeah, just like, I love Kevin Durant on the court, off the court. I can't stand him. He's one of those dudes where I'm like, bro, what is wrong with him? Just burner accounts, stuff that he be saying is just like when he coincidentally forgot Russell Westbrook on his top 5 teammates he's played with. Just miss me with all that. When he put Serge Ibaka on the list before he put Russell, just stop, please stop, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot. Please, okay, just miss me with all that. So anyway, yeah, KD number one as the player KD. Moving on to the news before I hit our break. I'm just going to hop right into this. First thing on the list is, of course, Tim Tebow cut after playing one preseason game with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Just one game too.
Were you privy to the Tim Tebow highlights of that one game to see him play as a tight end? It was. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it was.
My opinion about it is I expected him to at least get the early season before they started cutting him off.
Me too. I thought he would make the 52-man roster, 53-man roster.
Yeah, I thought he'd make the preseason, but then embarrass himself.
And then they were like, all right, we have to get rid of you.
Yeah, I did not imagine getting cut in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Preseason,
it's kind of like, why did y'all bring her in the first place?
Except for height.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. There was no way that you could take somebody who had never played the position before, and they've been off the field for like 6 or 7 years, and think that on their first preseason game they're gonna like, oh, they just blew my socks off.
No, it's different. You can't compare that man to like a tight end fresh out of college.
Yeah.
Playing the whole entire life, doesn't have no breaks off. You can't compare him. If you're gonna bring him on a team, you knew that this man has never touched the ball on the quarterback position. He's gonna be rusty. This man hasn't played football in years.
Yeah.
This man's gonna actually play over football.
Right.
Oh yeah, I'm like, Gronk now.
Right. It was pretty embarrassing watching those couple plays that have just been on pretty much all week long. I think it was a lot of, this whole thing was just to me a lot of Urban Meyer being, that was my old player. Now that I'm the coach here, I'm going to vouch for him. I'm going to do everything I can to keep him here. And then everybody else in the organization being like, Urban, why is he here? And they're like, no, he's going to be great. And in that one preseason game, they were like, all right, you have to get rid of him. Like, we don't care at this point that he's your guy, but you got to go. Right. And he was like, all right, I guess, you got me. The jig is up. Anyway, Tebow, I would say good luck, but something tells me this is the end of your road. Go back to, you were good on ESPN, man. Like, he was a good, solid college football commentator. Like, I think he was actually really good at that. I don't know why he hung that one up, but just go back to that, man. We're actually good at that. Anyway, Joel Embiid signs a 4-year, $196 million extension with the Sixers. Got the Supermax there. Which I actually think the money was, not to say that's not worth it, it's worth the money, but do you think he got the better end of the deal, or the Sixers got the better end of the deal?
He definitely did get the better end of the deal. Yes, he's going to do real good work for that team, but he does what, $25 million a year? Just over $25 million a year for 4 years.
It's 150.
What is it, 4 years? Under $100 million?
Yeah, so just about 50. 5 times 4.
Yeah, ridiculous amount of money. That man is
it's crazy.
Unlike certain other players we talked about last week, he couldn't have contract crazy.
That's called taking the money when it's offered to you. Yeah, congrats to him for getting paid. But yeah, like you said, he definitely got the better end of this thing. The Sixers, I am kind of surprised.
Where do they got the rest of this money coming from for the next 4 years?
It's just, I don't know. He has not played a lot of the games he hasn't played a lot of games in the past couple of years due to injury. He's another street close. He literally not playing because of stomach aches. But
same thing with his signed KD after they knew he was going to play for a whole year.
Right. When you're one of the best, KD's the best forward out there. Joel Embiid is arguably the best center out there. You're gonna give him,
like offer potential, and I think ticket sales, people are come out because Joel Embiid's gonna be there. Maybe the money's worth.
Yeah. So without a doubt. So props to him. I get on Philly's end, kind of had to because I'm sure he would leave if push came to shove.
Yeah, and sadly, not sadly, but like any team, there's a lot of teams that leave out people.
Yep, Billy, we'll give you $250 if you come here.
Exactly. And the essentially they realize,
Right. Well, we cannot let him go. It's as simple as that. Anyway, next up on the list, another NBA signing here. So the Grizzlies traded Eric Bledsoe to the Clippers in exchange for Patrick Beverley, Rajon Rondo, and Otoru. I'm not familiar with him. So right off the bat, two of LA's pretty much best guards gone in exchange for Eric Bledsoe to replace them on the Clippers. Strange, very strange. And then the Grizzlies took Patrick Beverley and traded him to the Timberwolves for two players I've never heard of before. So I don't know what the Grizzlies were trying to do. I guess they just really didn't want Eric Bledsoe anymore or something. But Shaq, what do you think about Bledsoe being on the Clippers now and him assumingly being the starting point guard for the LA Clippers?
I was going to understand like four different teams, three different teams involved in this trade.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, I think it benefited him really well, I guess.
I sort of do. Like, Bledsoe is an outstanding regular season point guard, but historically in the playoffs, ask the Milwaukee Bucks, hey man, Eric Bledsoe, as soon as he hits the playoffs, we seem to not do as well. Get rid of Eric Bledsoe, bring in Drew Holiday, championship baby. Yeah, so no disrespect to him, he's a good point guard, but I don't know. It just seemed like the Clippers were. I don't know. It's weird. It seemed like they were just kind of just desperate to get rid of Rondo and Patrick Beverley because they kind of had a falling out. You had Patrick Beverley trying to fight Chris Paul and just doing all his Patrick Beverley stuff. Rondo clearly did not fit onto that one at the end of their playoff run there when he criticized Kawhi. That was pretty much the last time we saw him was Kawhi taking that. Either he took it or didn't take that buzzer beater to win a playoff game, and Rondo got in his face, and that was the last time we saw him play. They sat him for the rest of the playoffs.
Last time we saw Rondo.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, the Lakers. I forget the Lakers. No.
He was good for his own sake. That team did.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, the Clippers were probably in a spot where we're like, all right, we cannot have two cancers on the team. We need to get rid of both of them. Who's available? Eric Bledsoe. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Won't get into that. Yeah, so I think the Clippers just got a little worse, not by much, but a little. The rest of the teams. Last but not least, this was kind of new. The NFL is going to make an emphasis on the taunting penalty this upcoming season. It was, I can't remember the dude's name, but basically the NFL itself, they tried to say, oh, the whole NFL, it's just this huge issue. It's really the NFL and the owner of the Giants. Like, stop it. Not everybody gives a damn about taunting. But yeah, that's going to be more of an emphasis this coming year. Exactly.
I really, except for rules that are meant for safety, like even if people might get hurt, I feel like the league is making it very softly.
Exactly.
Like,
stop.
It is unfortunately taunting. I really out here making rules.
Right. Like, to me, that's one of the best parts of the game.
Exactly. My boy, if you don't want to get taunted, you better do that.
Exactly. If you don't like it, stop it. Exactly. If you're tired of getting danced on, don't let them in the end zone. Simple as that.
Excessive celebrations, like.
Yes.
You want to stop that?
Exactly. Simple as that. I don't want to hear, oh, you get a penalty because you just got, the ball ran down your throat. And the dude's dunking on the field goal now.
It's just different when you got like the bounce and the bounce behind the game.
Yeah, that's, right.
I understand that. But yeah, they go in there and put a whole ass skit in someone.
Hey, shouldn't let him score.
Shakespeare, man.
So like that's honestly one of my favorite parts of the game is seeing what dudes come up with for a celebration.
I honestly promise you, taunting and all that's the least of my concern. If you ever go to a bar in this neck of the woods, Tampa, taunting is the main thing I watch at the bar.
It's part of the whole experience.
Exactly. It's watching people taunt other people's team. Let me like wear a Steelers jersey and let there be a Browns fan somewhere in the bar.
Right.
It's some sort of taunting going on the game. It's part of the fun.
Yeah, but they are like seriously going to be cracking down on it. There was just one of the preseason games. I don't remember who it was, but they ran the ball for a big first down, got up and didn't do anything over the top. But, you know, when dudes get a big first down, they get up, they clap in their hands, they're pumped up, and they're kind of yelling a little. They got called for a taunting call for doing that. It wasn't aimed at anybody in particular. He was just hyped up for getting the first down. They threw a flag for that. And it's like, that's not even really taunting at all. So now it hits this gray area of like, is it taunting or you guys just, you don't want to see any kind of
celebration. We're not allowed to be happy that we got
exactly, right.
We just gotta
right, hand the ball to the official and move on.
How exciting is that?
Exactly.
You as a fan, you want to see people excited, hyped, players on the field.
Right, and let's be real, folks. You know what this is. Like, the fact that it's the NFL and the old white man up there, like, well, you know, we don't want to see, you know.
Like, imagine back in the day where we had like Antonio on the Steelers and Juju, and then the real hyped up celebration, like
yeah,
stuff, over the top. It's like now you do it, you create a very soft
right.
sleeve, or we're afraid of people's emotions getting hurt.
Yeah, to me, it's like I guarantee you nobody has an issue with this under the age of like 35.
Yeah, if you go back to the days of the league, of people running into the middle of the field, people's logos, you remember that.
And then get lit up for it.
Those were the
exactly. Right, or autographing the camera lens, hopping in the crowd with people's popcorn. Like, come on.
So you watch that. That is half fun in watching plays and watching it. Like that. The other half of the fun is like see people excited.
Yeah, like we want to see the personalities come out too. Like
half the NFL is just pure OBJ,
yeah,
Brown, Cam Newton,
right.
Those type of people. Watching them and their personality really makes it.
Yes, without a doubt. Like that's what makes it more than just playing Madden, and it's just a bunch of numbers running around.
Yes, in a couple of years, it'll be like watching golf. People will sit slow clapping in stands.
Yeah, so I don't know how they're gonna deal with it going forward because that could get really, really messy. Because I think last year there was only like 5 taunting calls made throughout the entire year. There was like 5 taunting calls. This year, if that what we just saw in preseason was considered taunting, God only knows how much more that could be, and that could really start to get in the way of the game. And I feel like this is going to be a lot bigger of an issue, and I don't know if it's going to stick or if they got to make adjustments. I don't know, but it's unfortunate as it is right now. So we're going to take a break. We're back on the other side with the last topic of the week, and that is our last divisional breakdown of the AFC South. Saving the least for the last. Anyway. Secondly, we will be back in just a bit. If you were starting a team right now, would you pick him as your starting point guard?
Yes.
Oh, I'm still taking Steph. I'm sorry.
No.
You think Russell Westbrook is a better point guard?
An all around better point guard.
How many rings does Russell Westbrook have?
How many rings does Steph have?
3.
Yeah. I'm still taking.
Kevin Durant left this man because he said, I can't win with you. I got to go join somebody who can.
And then he left Steph again.
Well, I mean, it's Kevin Durant.
Yes.
But at the same time, since he's left, what has Russell Westbrook done?
You make a powerhouse team around Steph Curry. That man had help.
Before that, he had him. It was him, Draymond, and Clay.
Which is still a lot more than Westbrook had.
He had Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka.
You try to play with James Harden.
If a game is on the line, the last person on my list is Russell Westbrook because that shit is hard off the glass every single time. What are you saying right now, Ryan Brown? Is a beast. Yeah, he is a beast. That doesn't mean he's better than Steph Curry.
Yes.
Some do say that they think the coaching is the problem with that team, but I mean, maybe if you give him a great coach, maybe they'll hop up to like the 8th seed at best. You know, maybe they'll jump up 2 places or so, but nothing crazy.
Can't coach non-talent.
That's also true, man.
This is some of a Disney movie where the Airbud comes and saves them, bro.
They do have a very interesting roster. I will say that.
Not just people like to talk. Mike Tomlin is probably the best thing to happen. One of the best things that happened to that team when it comes to coaching. Which other coach would you know would have tolerated all that shit? Think about it. Picture coaching Antonio Brown for more than one season at a time. And then picture coaching Juju on the same exact. My thing is like no other coach would have tolerated. You know, damn well this man is cussing them out in locker room every game,
screaming at him,
using all types of language, just screaming at him in the locker room to act right. You know, this man do nightly call-ins. You home? All right, you got a game tomorrow.
He's a high school coach. He's got to call the night before. Hey, remember, we got to be at the airport. All right, 9 a.m.
Is that club music in the background?
Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore, 2 of them are in the process of buying the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards was asked about what he thinks about A-Rod now owning the team, and apparently he did not know who Alex Rodriguez even was. Very strange coming from him, who apparently played baseball for a big chunk of his life, and he's trying to convince people that he doesn't know.
Cool point, yeah.
I don't see your name on this checkbook.
What payroll?
Apparently they'll take full control from 2023, and they will also own the WNBA counterpart, the Minnesota Lynx, as well.
I feel like this Browns team has a different vibe, a more successful vibe than what you've seen in the past from them?
Nah, I think they're still the same Browns team out there every year. I think they're nameless great faces. The Browns is the Browns. I'm just happy we're playing them again, you know, this Sunday. I'm just happy we're playing them again, you know. The Browns is the Browns. I'm just happy we're playing them again, you know, this Sunday. The Browns is the Browns.
Get him out of here, Chuck! The Browns don't beat the Browns! The Browns don't beat the Browns! And I'ma need that $40 even if I gotta
English teacher is the reason I put pressure on your neck. Black intelligence is just as dangerous as a tech.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La 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 la. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side, so I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the keys to my truck. Hit the shop cause I'm faded. Honey's in the streets, say money, oh we made it. It feels so good in my...
Babe, I don't know what y'all do on your break, but you enjoy it.
I swallowed spit. I almost died.
All right, I'm back. Don't forget to follow us on IG.
The Indiana Pacers. Pick number 10 will be made by the New Orleans Pelicans.
So fucking tired of this shit. Fuck this shit. Come on, you motherfucker. Come on. Come on.
James Harden that same night had a 38 points, 11 assists, 13 rebound triple-double against Minnesota. He's just out of his mind lately. He looks like the Houston James Harden, where he's just carrying that team that ever since. And we are back, folks. My chair needs some WD-40 or something. Got the little Tebow knees. Hope you enjoyed it, Chair. This is your last episode. Before we hit the last topic of the week, would like to shout out at Pure Leaf Creations, the OG sponsor of this show. That is at PureliefCreations, Pure Leaf Creations. If you're looking for handmade jewelry, I'm not wearing anything from her right now, but if you're looking for handmade jewelry, something pretty high end. If you're looking for a nice pendant, a nice set of earrings, nice gold of some kind, or a ring, or something really, really nice, folks. An engagement ring, even if you're looking for that type of a thing. At Pure Leaf Creations on Instagram. Check out. That's my wife's account. She makes handmade jewelry, literally handmade jewelry. So it's all very, very nice. Real gold, real silver, depending on what you're looking for. So check it out, folks, if that's what you're in the market for. Moving on to the last segment of the week, and that is our breakdown of the AFC South. We have broken down every other division in the cesspool known as the NFL, leading up to this point. And yeah, we're left with just the good old AFC South. That's the division that you always forget exists. So we're going to break down them. So the way this works is we will basically rank their off seasons, who had the best off season in the division, who had the worst, and everything in between. And then we're going to look at everybody's schedules, predict game by game how we think they're going to do, and we will finish it out with who wins the division and how far they will go in the playoffs. So, Shaq, who do you think had the worst offseason in the AFC South?
Worst would be Colts.
Bah! Go ahead.
Colts, they were always asking me, and I do not see them getting not doing well. Comparison to the rest of the division and what's going on there, that I feel as them we go into the division, they do more stance.
Okay. I can't really fault that because I do see what you're saying. For my number 4 was easily the Houston Texans. They are in a rough spot right now, the Houston Texans. You technically lost your 3 best players. One of them is being indicted. 2 of them actually left with Will Fuller and J.J. Watt. Both said, see ya. They have a brand new head coach. I think I can't say I think he'll do well because look at what he has to deal with. Probably won't do well. He was an assistant for Baltimore, but now he's their first-time head coach. So we'll see how he does. The Texans are in that rebuild. They're not coming out of one. They are just entering one, freshly entering a rebuild right now. And it's crazy to think about because they were just a team that 2 seasons ago were up 20 some odd points against the Chiefs in a divisional playoff game and really looked like they were about to go to the AFC Championship game, and now here we are. This whole thing looks bad. Deshaun looks like probably won't be playing this year. He'll have to sit out. Tyrod Taylor is going to be filling in his place. I like Tyrod, but I mean, you look at what he has to deal with. There's just no way. He's an okay quarterback. And if you give him this roster, good luck with that one, Houston fans. It looks bad, it smells bad, tastes bad. It's a bad team. So, yeah, they had a terrible offseason. It's just watching the whole building burn down, basically. So, put the Texans at number 4.
Number 3, Texans. Yes, team seems to be demolishing the feet. And what is else for them? Do I still put them on the Colts next year? I absolutely do. Put them on the Colts next year as a team. They have not been doing that. In my opinion, are solid consistent teams. So
I will say this: the Colts made the playoffs last year. The Houston Texans did not and will not be making the playoffs for a very long time.
In my opinion, there are only one team really capable of making playoffs this season, and there is no wild card team coming out.
No, I'm not agree with that. But
yes, this team, this whole division will watch.
I put the Colts at number 3. They had a lackluster offseason. They did draft Squiddy Pay. He'll be a solid defensive end. That was probably the brightest spot for Indianapolis this offseason, was drafting him. He should be great at getting after Tyrod Taylor and Ryan Tannehill and all those other Bamas in that division. But besides that, really just a strange. They had a lot of money to spend this offseason, and it seemed like they were going to make a splash in free agency, and they just didn't. They held the checkbook close to their chest and let everybody else go on shopping sprees. They overpaid T.Y. Hilton to come back for 1 year. He was threatening to leave. He was about to sign with the Ravens, and they panicked and were like, "No, please, T.Y., we'll pay you $400 million a year. Please come back." So he stayed, and now he's clearly like, this is it for him, and now you're overpaying him. Rivers and Costanzo both retired this year, so not only do he was starting quarterback, but also the starting tackle is gone, completely gone. So those are 2 very, very important positions that are now out of there, and then you replace them with Eric Fisher at tackle, and he's injury prone to say the least, and then also Carson Wentz, who is also injury prone to say the least. So the fact that you have replaced both of which are not going to be playing for the first. I think Fisher got injured in January, so he won't be available until a couple weeks into the season, so that's not too bad. But who's to say he doesn't get hurt again? Carson Wentz won't be here until probably the second half of the season. So that's when he'll get back from his sprained elbow. Just the fact that you're already starting off on a bad foot before even a single snap has really been played is a really bad sign. So I think the Colts had a lot of money to spend. They were a playoff team last year. It looked like they were about to take a step forward with all that being said, and then they took 4 steps back with Wentz and Fisher. So yeah, who do you have at number 2, Shaq?
Number 2, I put number 4. I put the Jazz. Yes, they did get that tippy top pick.
Sure
like
did.
I said, it was rookie coming out of it, and we all know one thing does not change many things.
Yeah.
Talking about a whole team that is just bad. 2 seasons ago, they had some fluke season where they were good for some odd reason, and went right back to the Jazz.
Yeah.
I know somebody whose family has season tickets to Jacksonville Jags. I was like, why are you like throwing away money?
He's like burning it.
Exactly. No, I do not. It's like, yes, you might get 2, maybe 3 games better than they did last season at most, but
it's not saying much.
When you won, how many games last season?
I think 2.
Yeah, so you win 2 games out of like a 15-game season.
I mean, they had the first overall pick, so either 1 or 2.
Yeah, so it's like they'll go from having the worst record in the league to being a
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're also my number 2. I have as a much more optimistic number 2, I will say. Jags fans, I'll let you know right now, they're not winning. Like, you'll win a little more than what you won last year. Let me just say that now. But the future is looking a lot brighter now. Obviously, you got a brand new franchise quarterback. Dude's gonna, he'll do great things, I believe. It does great things elsewhere. I didn't say he was doing it for your team. I just said he was doing great things. You also got Urban Meyer. He's there now. You're a brand new head coach. You gave Trevor Lawrence his old Clemson running back. So with his Etienne, he'll be there. So there's obviously a connection already there. So I think that'll work out really well. And Jacksonville seemed to have made an emphasis of, we're bringing in Trevor Lawrence. Let's just immediately try and surround him with dudes to help him win. They obviously have a lot of work cut out for them, but at least offensively, they've done a fairly good job at putting not really, big names around him on offense, but solid, okay guys around him on offense. Right. Capable names to get the job done. Yeah, the fact that they were able to also draft Etienne. Tight end is something that they're still lacking at, without a doubt, which is unfortunate because that would be nice to give your rookie quarterback a nice security blanket at tight end, but it is what it is. They also got Shaq Griffin over from Seattle. They did overpay to bring him there, so it is what it is on that front. But, yeah, Jacksonville, it is looking up for you guys. You guys are, to me, on the opposite end of the rebuild cycle of Houston. Houston is kind of just coming into it. I feel like you guys are just starting to crawl out of that and are now on the up. Nothing big's going to be happening this year, but depending on how you guys look this year, I feel like this can be the foundation for you guys to really start to build off of and start coming up in that division. So, yeah, put Jacksonville number 2, which by default would make Tennessee at number 1 for the both of us. Shaq, why'd you have Tennessee at number 1?
I know it's similar where they figure out less is more on things. They
Yes.
find out the strong suits. It worked really well from last season. They had a handful of stuff they needed to fix. Unfortunately, it's not that they lost bad losses. They lost to really good teams. But they really final season last season. I feel like it's less of what they lacked, but things plays and things that didn't play out the way they wanted to kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a team like Tampa and other teams where less is more and they just got to figure out play wise or different calls or two players different.
Yeah, I agree. The less is more, just like Cleveland, Kansas City, Buffalo, like less is more. We don't need to do a whole bunch. We already had a very good season last year. Don't need to touch too much. It's kind of weird to think that this team got bounced by Baltimore in the divisional. I guess it was more the wild card round. But, yeah. It seemed like they made it further last year, but that was it. They made it to the first round, and unfortunately couldn't get any further. But they picked up Julio Jones. Obviously, that's the biggest signing. That's going to work wonders for their offense. Take some pressure off of Derrick Henry. They also got Janoris Jenkins in the secondary now. I think he'll do fantastic for them. Bud Dupree brought him over, plenty of experience. Will also work wonders on the defense. Tannehill is a solid quarterback. I don't think he's a lead or great or anything like that, but he is a good quarterback nonetheless. But now that he has Julio on one side of the ball, A.J. Brown on the other side of the ball, I think he can make a lot more big plays this coming season, because before his passing game was fairly limited. It was just keying on A.J. Brown, and for the most part, you'll be all right. Now that you got to figure out how to cover both of those dudes, I think he can really air out the ball a lot more now. Also, which takes more pressure off of Derrick Henry, and will free him up a bit more to make even bigger runs. So, they won their division last year. I don't see that changing at all this year. In fact, I see them just getting even stronger. So, yeah, Tennessee at number one, undoubtedly the best offseason out of all of that. So, we're now going to move into the predictions for these seasons, or for these teams, rather. Shaq, is there any team specific you'd like to start out with? Let's go with Tennessee first, as we're just talking about them. Yes, so I already did the due diligence of going back and penciling in what we've already predicted so we don't contradict ourselves. Yes, so at this point, since we've predicted everybody else, we're just at pretty much just the divisional games for this team. So, yeah.
Wonderful team. I see them winning against Arizona, taking out L to Seattle, so that's one super. Winning against Indianapolis, winning to the Jets, winning to the Jazz, winning to Buffalo, winning against Kansas City.
You have the Colts. You have the Titans very strong this year.
It's a great game. Now that the game will really more of a receiver threat and pass game, win against Kansas City, win against Indianapolis again, win against LA, win against New Orleans. I say they lose this first game to Houston. Look, I say they're on a high streak. They think too much of themselves and make stupid mistakes.
Fair enough. Divisional game. All right.
Divisional game. They win against New England. They beat the Jags. They beat Pittsburgh. Beat San Fran. Beat Miami, and then beat Houston.
Damn. So the Titans only lose 2 games this year on Shaq's watch.
You think about it on paper. This is a team that has a very solid run game. Their receiving game has only gone up from this point outwards. So,
it has.
And this schedule is not the hardest schedule in the world. I think at it. The hardest teams they got right now: Seattle, Buffalo, and Kansas City.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a very right. You have a few doozies in there: Pittsburgh, LA, New England, San Francisco. Besides that, Arizona, but those are kind of we'll see.
Yeah, but the rest of those, as good as they are on the team, it's like some of those games really close, where they can pull it through, just get to the games. But they've got a few manageable teams that are really
Yes, 15-2. I don't think I would say that strongly, but my prediction for them: hosting the Cardinals, L at Seattle, win. Hosting the Colts, win. At Jets, win. At Jacksonville, I said they'd lose that one. Divisional game on the road, probably hot. Loss. The Bills, the Chiefs, Colts, Rams. That's a 4-game winning streak I have. The Titans are going to be red hot, and it will be Jameis and the Saints to hand them an L on Sunday, November 14th. Knock them off that high horse. Right, I'm just speaking to existence, baby. The Texans, they beat them. At my Patriots, I had my Patriots beating them. Sorry, guys, but I'm not going to pick against my team on that one. The Jags, basically for the rest of the season, they went on out against Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Miami, Houston. So I have them losing 4 games and going 13-4. Right. Just I feel like a little more grounded on that one, but we'll see. Either way, the Titans are going to be very, very dangerous this year. Not a team that you want to see. Yes. Now let's move on over to Houston. Now this is going to be very interesting. Yeah, we'll take it right from the top. Go ahead, Shaq.
Houston, I haven't catching fat L to Jacksonville in the season.
All right.
Quarterback from up there, you got some improved ball out, but safe, but also at the same time. Austin Patrick, fat other Cleveland really good this season. They really get to Carolina the first one of the series.
That. Go ahead.
I'll just fight. Carolina scores like a QB. Yep.
Sam Darnold. The old Sam back there.
Catching L to Buffalo, L to New England. I say they beat Indianapolis.
At Indy, Jesus.
Yep, they beat Arizona. Catch an L to LA. Catch an L to Miami. They probably catch a fat L.
Yeah, you most definitely have been losing that one.
They beat Jets. They beat Indianapolis again.
Jesus Christ.
Catch I say they beat Jacksonville this time. We kind of see they can break headway with this.
That out of all your predictions for the past 8 weeks, this one beating the Chargers is the most egregious one. I do not understand how the Houston Texans beat the Los Angeles Chargers.
This season, here's my theory about the season. One or two things are going to happen. Either one, that team's struggling and just trying to make headway again, or two, team is very complacent where they're landing in the division.
Yes, which I see the Chargers are very complacent with beating the shit out of them, and the Houston Texans tanking at that point.
I mean, I see this team very ignorant and feel like they just will somehow do something this season, so.
Fair enough.
Catch your fouls.
Right, yeah. So, gosh, there's a lot of W's in here for no damn reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they go 8 and 9. Wow. If the Texans get 8 wins this season, y'all can tell me whatever you want me to do. If the Texans get 8 wins this season, I'll jump off a bridge. Name the bridge y'all want me to jump off of if they hit 8 wins. I'll get back up, climb back up there, and do it again. I, on the other hand, have the Texans as literally the worst team in the NFL this year. I'll sum this up real fast. They will beat Jacksonville early on because Jacksonville is. There's a lot of red on this screen. Jacksonville will be very new head coach, new quarterback. They'll get their feet, it'll take a little while for them. The Texans will beat them. From the rest of the season, they're not winning another game, folks.
That first game was getting hot. So I had them losing this game purely because Jacksonville's balling out.
That's gonna be an interesting week 1 game to watch. Oddly, right. And it's gonna set the tone for both teams.
One is his team that has.
I think the Texans are going to be the worst team in the NFL, and they will have the number 1 pick. And they're going to go get a quarterback come next spring.
Mind you, folks, the Jags were the worst team last season.
They were. This is weird. Yeah, they were. I mean, hey, one of them has a starting quarterback now, the other does not. They are, but they just got Wilson. They've got an okay team this year. I have them I think, 3 years this year, which is 3 times more than 1. Anyway, yeah. So Houston, good luck. Next up, let's do Jacksonville. Since speaking of them, Shaq, feel free. You obviously have them winning this first game of the season against the Texans. That was the first division we did.
When he gets to Cincinnati,
losing against the Titans,
lose against the Titans, lose against Cincinnati, lose against Buffalo, Seattle, lose against Buffalo, win against Indianapolis, win against San Fran, win against Atlanta, win against LA. They got the fat L to Tennessee.
Yeah. The Texans, let's see, I don't remember what we said to that one. Probably a loss. Where is Yeah, you have it splitting. So they will lose this one. All right. Are the Colts winning a game this year? Pretty sure you picked against someone every single game. I believe, like, mathematically, you may have been pushed into making them 0-17. I think the Colts are a much better team than the Texans, but that's just me. All right, so you have the Jags win. Wow, 9-8. All right, I mean, 9 games. All right, fair enough. This division is upside down right now. Tennessee.
Actually makes it past regular season.
So at Houston, I have the Jags losing that one. Like I said before, they will beat the Broncos to lose to the Cards and the Bengals. I think they will beat the Titans at home. Like I said before, divisional game, hot. Hot. Then they will go to or they'll host the Dolphins. I like imagine losing that game. At Seattle, at Buffalo. Sorry, people. At Seattle, hosting Buffalo. At Indy, loss. Somehow, some way, they'll beat the 49ers. I don't know why I picked that earlier on. 3 wins, 3 losses in a row. Jesus. Against the Falcons, Rams, and the Titans. They will, of course, beat the Texans, and then will finish out the season by losing to the Jets, Patriots, and the Colts.
I'm sorry, they beat those Jets and they beat anybody. They
That's the first most egregious was Texans beating the Chargers. The second most was the Texans beating the Panthers. It's terrible.
I'm sorry, that's for the draft party. You don't want to fight me for the stream.
Last but certainly least are the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you picked against them on everything. The Texans are winning 8 games. The Jags are winning 9. The Colts are winning 9.
So they lose against Seattle, lose against LA, they lose against Tennessee. Miami L, Baltimore L, Houston L, San Fran L. Yeah, they lose that list. Their best chances were playing. I'm sorry. You hate the guy, you
This is true hate.
Nah, you chill. You're my favorite person.
Chill. Did the girl you were talking to, was she from Indianapolis or something?
Secretly, some girl told me like
The sad part is Carson Wentz is going to come back from injury right around here, week 9, and then right after that, right around there. And then they'll go ahead and shove him into a cannon and blast him off by the end of the year.
They put all the fans, the rest of the team into a cannon and launch them out because it's on.
If they somehow, some way, Colts lose every single game this year, the city will murder Carson Wentz. I'm just letting you know right now.
Either one, they will lose every single game, or 2 they win.
That's how destiny works on this show. I have them going a much more modest 8 and 9. They'll lose the first 4 games of the. Y'all lucky you ain't losing the first 8 games because you're gonna have whoever back there while Wentz is out. They'll lose the first 4. Then they'll go on a little winning streak against Baltimore. The only reason I have them beating Baltimore is because after losing 4 in a row, the team will be faced with the challenge of, do we want to fight the entire city of Indianapolis or win this game? So I have them beating the Baltimore Ravens.
Honestly, I see them beat the whole city.
So with that being said, they'll beat them. They'll of course beat the Texans. Again, another weird pick of them beating the 49ers. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it is what it is at this point. They'll lose to Tennessee. I love how we hit this point where what's done is done.
It's like you have not made the greatest decision for the
We're here now.
We're here now. Stop trolling on me.
Go ahead and dive in. They'll beat the Jets. They'll beat the Jags. They'll, of course, lose to Buffalo and Tampa Bay. They will beat the Texans again. They will lose to New England, Arizona, and then finish out bright spot 2 games in a row. Yep, because they would have had 6 wins had they not won that, and probably had a lot better draft pick. So there's that. And either way, they're going to want to beat Carson Wentz by the end of this whole year either way. So they probably want to beat him right now.
Either way, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that is that. We obviously don't have any wild card teams coming out of this godforsaken division. Yes. So how far do you think the Titans will go in the playoffs? Yeah, and Julio's he's up there in age, and he's not the healthiest, but you know.
Yeah, you can survive 17 games of regular season and still be fully healthy. I say they make a decent one. Do I see them making Super Bowl? Absolutely not.
What round do you think they get bounced in?
I say they go 2 deep rounds into playoffs.
Okay.
They might get lucky to win that second game in the playoffs. Get like divisional.
Right. Yeah, divisional round.
Divisional round. Lose that one.
Yeah, that's my exact thoughts. At best, they hit the divisional round and then get it. That's it. Yeah, I think the AFC is just a lot tougher these past couple of years, and I don't see them better than Cleveland, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore. Like, there's a lot of other teams I think are better off than they are. So yeah, Tennessee.
Literally every single other quarterback in that division
Right.
is better quarterback than
Or anything in that conference. Because by default, Tannehill's the best in that. Well, we'll see how. If Trevor Lawrence is what they say is, then yes.
Conference when it comes to quarterback.
Right.
A good portion of those quarterbacks that have made to that point are better quarterbacks.
Yeah, because right now he's in that division, the big fish, little pond. Lawrence, we'll see. Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, what I am going to do, not next week, because I'll get to that in a second, but probably the week before the season starts, I'm going to take all of our predictions and put them on one big graphic. Not game by game, Jesus Christ, but records, and just be like, here's all 32 teams, here's all of our records that we predicted. I'm going to make it final. Like, all right, here's the number that you said. Are we finalizing this? Because it's going to come back to haunt you. So if you'd like to make any changes. So I'll give us one last chance of like, 0-17, do I really see that happening?
I want to let y'all know that I am hard-headed, so I'm going to refuse to change So, y'all guys know.
I probably won't change anything either, just because at this point, if I change one thing, that means I got to go change somebody else, and then go, no, all right, I got to change somebody else. This is a whole... Right. So what's done is done. I'm still going to make the graphic nonetheless, just so you can see the totality of it all before the actual season starts. So that will be not next week, possibly the week after that. I don't know. It's the week before the season starts. Right. It's a perfect segue, folks. So next episode 47 is our draft spectacular episode. Not the we did the NFL draft a couple months ago. Man, that feels like it was yesterday. That was like quite a few months ago now. Anyway, our fantasy draft, we're doing after further review. Fantasy League this year. So next week will be our draft. We'll be live streaming it. Our normal time, like I said at the beginning of the show, is Wednesday at 9:30. This will be next Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will not be on Wednesday or Thursday. But mark your calendar for Saturday, August 28th. 1 o'clock p.m. We'll be live from Bacon and Brewery. We were there a few weeks ago during the finals. So we'll be back there with a few other friends of ours. And then we have a bunch of friends of the show that will make up our fantasy league. So, yeah, we'll be drafting live on the show.
No matter who I choose, that season decides to be you.
Your first and second pick, one's going to blow out their knee, and the other one's going to be like,
I chose A-Rod 1 year for fantasy, and that was the game that A-Rod got injured for like 3/4 of the game.
Oh, yeah, against Chicago.
Against Chicago. Was like in a coma on the ground for like 3/4. And then decided to come back in the last 2.5 minutes. I'm like, alright. Okay. And down by 50 points. Now you like my hair.
Yeah, man, that sums it all up right there.
What fantasy is the one thing that religiously gets me upset every single year? Because on paper, my team is supposed to do well, but then come to actual stats and everything.
Right.
You get 5 passes for like 60 yards. And like,
60 yards.
That's distributed throughout 3 games. My defense for some reason gets 1.5 interceptions for the season.
It's got that Dallas defense.
And my quarterback makes nothing but safe 2-yard throws.
Yeah. That is how it. After the draft, you're like, oh, yeah, this is a great team. Yeah, this is going to be great.
Week 4.
Yeah, I'm ready to get rid of all of y'all.
You know what I hate about week 6? I am losing to somebody who gave up on his team.
Some new auto drafted.
Who auto drafted. Who hasn't changed up. Who has 2 players behind you in the line. You don't even have.
Right. And you're like, how am I physically losing right now?
This one says 2 to 3 people on the bye week. I'm still losing by 15 points. With 5 minutes left to play from the evening.
Oh,
and
man.
by then, I knew when to punch the person into the box.
How to hit anybody now?
I have a child sitting next to me in the bar. And
So, yeah, folks, if you want to tune into any episode, next week is most definitely the episode. You'll get to see the shenanigans that take place. There's going to be a bunch of us all on between in person and on a video call, all in this giant draft. Yeah, and then after that, we will continue to update you guys throughout the season on how our league is panning out. You know, who's in first place, second, you know, how the two divisions are working out. And then, of course, fill you in on our fantasy picks on FanDuel as well. So there's a lot to look forward to in the next couple weeks. Absolutely.
There's so much going on. Between fantasy, what's going on week by week, the light Wednesdays, Sunday games going on.
Right.
20 games going down.
Right. That was why we picked Wednesday night to do our show in the first place, because it was like right in that middle of NFL games. Yeah.
The folks, in this third couple weeks, the months, it's just kind of get more of
Right. We also want to thank you guys for hitting 400 subscribers recently. It's a small drop in the bucket, but it's a necessary small drop in the bucket to continue growing. Right. Right. Yes, exactly.
Welcome to the live chat. You will hear your shout out in the live chat.
Right.
Okay, you got something live on your chat.
Right. We don't bite. This man has jinxed himself several times on this show.
When it comes to sports, I jinx myself. When it comes to other
you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, thank y'all in person for meeting me.
Right. Yeah, so that will do it for this week, folks. We will see you next week from Bay Canyon Brewery. And yeah, hope to see you then. Have a good week. And we will see you on Saturday. Next Saturday. Peace.